Hi everyone, my name's Rob. I'm here to talk to you today about organising a social action event. Social action is something that I got into when I finished university. I started working for a church and they asked me to do that because they realised they weren't doing much social action, they weren't very good at it and they wanted to do. So that's how I got into it, and during that time I started something called the Organising project, which you may have heard of or not in York. Essentially what we try to do at the Organising is match up the church with people who are in need and find ways for the church to serve the poor locally, and people give their time, their skills, their things or their money, and we match up what givers have got with people that are in need. My contact details are just here. If you want to ask me any questions or if I can help in any way, I'd love to do that. I'll just start with a story of how social action can be really missional. This was a group of students that offered their time. They went to clean a person's house who suffered some domestic violence. Her son had trashed the house, so they went to clean it up, and they did that. They cleaned it really well. They hoovered, they mopped, they washed the windows, all those types of things. They took it a stage further. They saw that she had no food in the cupboards, so they filled that, and she just couldn't understand why these people who didn't know her would love her so much. And she came to church for the next few months, and that was just an amazing story of how she was overwhelmed by what they did, and they took social action really missionally. Another story, we met a guy that had come across some Christians in other paths, and we met him at one point, and we had a group of it was a cell group that wanted to bless him, so they took him shopping to buy a Christmas tree and just to make his Christmas a little bit nicer. He didn't have a fridge, so they offered to buy him one, and they took him into Comet, and he just cried. He was so overwhelmed. So social action can be really missional, and it's great that it can be part of More Than Gold. So today I've got 4 questions that I want to ask just to help you to organise an event. So the first question is, where do I start? And I think the first place to start is prayer. As with anything we do in the church, prayer is always a good place to start. So I'd encourage you, before you do anything, is to pray and to ask God, please be in this, please show us what you want to do, where you want us to go, who you want us to work with. An example from my own church experience is we wanted to do a project as a cell group. We didn't know what to do, so we prayed. God was very specific. He gave us 2 words. One said where to go, and the other said the people we will meet when we got there. And through working with the Besom, we did that, which was great. So the second question is who will be giving. More Than Gold is about the whole church in York in mission. So I don't think there's anything that should stop us, whether we're age 3 or 103, in getting involved in social action. Over the last year at the Besom, we've had a 5-year-old give, and we've had a 100-year-old give, and everyone in between. We've had a men's football team give their time, we've had cell groups, we've had youth groups, we've had ladies groups do things, we've had children, as I said before, we've had students, we've had clusters. There's lots of things that we can do, and I just encourage you to think about that when you're planning something, who will be involved in this event, because that will obviously help you to think through a lot of questions that will arise from that. So that's 2 questions. Where should we start, who will be giving, and who will benefit? Sorry, that's my 3rd question. Who will benefit from what we'll do? You might want to benefit the local community as a whole, so there might be an open space, a park, a common area where people walk their dogs, for example, or something that you might think could do with cleaning up with litter or removing graffiti, or you might want to install a swing or something like that. That's something that can benefit. Or it might be that you want to benefit a specific part of the community, whether it's like an old people's home or something like that, or there's another area of society that you want to bless, you feel God's called you to. Or secondly, there might be a specific person that you know that you want to help, or there's a specific person you want to help but you just don't know them. So that's where we come in at the Besom, and we can help you find people. Each week we get referrals from about 35 different agencies in the city who know people in need, and they refer them to us to help, and we're able to match up the church to help them, to make a difference for them. Another question in this third question about who will benefit is, what kind of timescale are you looking at? Are you looking to do something for just a week, or for a month, or for the summer, or something that will be long term? That's something that you could think about. And one of the churches that we work with, I know recently, has joined a ward committee as part of the local council, and they're investing in the local community, and the community is expecting them to help, which is great. So the last question I want to ask, the fourth one, is what would you like to do? And I think if you've prayed about it, if you've asked God where should we start, if you've thought about who will be involved, and you've thought about who you want to benefit, then this answer comes quite easily. What would you like to do? So there might be people you know in the local community, and I just encourage you to go for it. Social action is a good thing. It's something that Jesus encouraged, so I'd encourage you to build on relationships that you've got. And I'd really go for it. It's a good thing. Pray about it. We're here if you want any advice. Secondly, things in the community, working in parks, in common land. I'd encourage you to work with the council. I've done this before, and we've had a really positive experience, so I'd encourage you to do that. A guy I've worked with before is Ian Dunn. He works for the street environment team. His details are here. If you want to contact Ian, he'll be really helpful, and he'll help you find something locally that you can do that will make a difference for the local community. And then third on this point, if you don't know where to start, or if you want to know things about your community, then at the Beeson we can help you. We're here to help you make the first steps to serving the poor locally. So whether you just want some advice, whether it's about child protection or about liability insurance, or whether you want us to come and help you assess a project that you found that you want to do, whether it's some training on working with those that are vulnerable, we're happy to do that. We can encourage you in that. Whether you want to know the needs of your local area, we can help you find out what the needs are and where you could help in that way. We can completely set a project up for if you want, so you can just say we want to do a project on this day, doing this, and then we'll help you to do that. Or lastly, I'll just finish with a story. You might have a specific skill that you want to use. We once had a cell group from a church in Ainsworth. They came to us and they said, in our cell group we've got a debt counsellor, we've got a beautician, and we've got people that love cooking. Do you know anyone that would benefit from those things? So we found a referral, a family that really struggled with debt, and they had 3 children. So once the children had gone to bed, the group went round and they cooked the parents a really nice meal so they could relax together, and they gave their mum a makeover, which is amazing stuff, and it really encourages us. So I'll just finish by summing up. So first, I'd encourage you to pray about what you should be doing. Prayer is always a good place to start. Secondly, to think about who will be giving, who will be taking part in your social action event. Thirdly, who will benefit from what you're doing. And then lastly, think about what you'd like to do. Thank you very much.